Discovering the problem that you never knew existed. You might not realize or acknowledge it, but there's a considerable chance that you have at least one problem that's holding you back from achieving your full potential. One of the most prevalent problems is the one called the upper limit problem. This problem has everything to do with the psychological and mental state more than the physical state. Sitting in his office one day, Gay Hendricks reflected on his work and relationship and felt very satisfied with himself. In the same sitting, just a few moments later, he was already worrying about the safety of his daughter Amanda, who had gone on a summer program away from home. When he called Amanda's dorm supervisor to ask about the safety of his daughter, he was assured that she was doing well and having fun. Now, what could have made Hendricks move from being satisfied with his life to be worried and sad within minutes? Hendricks realized that he had unconsciously created painful images in his head because he was feeling good. A part of him was afraid of getting too happy and excited that he automatically created a bad scenario in his head to pull him down from the height of happiness he was attaining. The upper limit problem. Almost everyone suffers from this problem. All you have to do is take an in-depth look at your life, and you'll see the patterns everywhere. The upper limit problem is what is stopping you from realizing your true and full potential. As humans, we find it hard to sustain a prolonged period of peace and harmony. We often spoil it with the arguments, conflicts, crisis, and even war. The prospect of being thoroughly happy seems so far-fetched and unrealistic to us, and that's a significant problem in human life. Immediately Hendricks discovered this pattern, he set himself on a journey of fully unraveling the mystery behind this problem. He consulted his inner self and asked himself some life-changing questions that you should also ask yourself. 1. How can I extend the periods of contentment in my life? 2. If I can eliminate the behaviors that stop the flow of positive energy, can I learn how to feel great all the time? 3. Can I allow things to go well in my life all the time? In relationships, can I live in harmony and intimacy all the time? 4. Can our species live in expanding waves of peace and prosperity, free from the patterns of messing things up when they are going well? These questions are the maps that you need to help guide your life and pull you out of the upper limit problem. How to move from the zone of incompetence to the zone of genius. There are 4 zones that you must first realize before you can get rid of your upper limit problem. These zones are: zone of incompetence, zone of competence, zone of excellence, zone of genius. To know more about these zones, you must first reach a commitment with yourself to identify what's stopping you from attaining your full potential. To get answers to that, you must ask yourself these questions. Am I willing to increase the amount of time every day that I feel good inside? This question doesn't refer to your sense of financial strength or temporary happiness and state of mind. It's a question that wants to know if you would be willing to help yourself to a level where you have a deep feeling of wellness and happiness with yourself. Am I willing to increase the amount of time my life goes well? To a large extent, your happiness depends on you. This question refers to your life quest, your relationships, career pursuits, and things that are central to the development of your life. Am I willing to feel good and have my life go well all the time? Limitations to your beliefs can be a massive hindrance to your development. These limitations might not seem negative to you when you take a surface look at it. Are you willing to expand beyond your horizon without carrying doubts all around you? Are you willing to take the big leap to your ultimate level of success in love, money, and creative contribution? This is the most important question yet. Whatever answers you might have given to the previous questions, this is the question that wants to know if you're willing to make the most significant step in enhancing everything about your life positively. It is important to note, though, that the upper limit problem is not solvable like normal life problems. It's not advisable for you to solve the problem. You should instead dissolve the problem. When you dissolve the problem, you are letting it know that you have total control over it and that you can quickly impact your own life without the fear of the upper limit problem. Your world takes its patterns through the 4 zones mentioned earlier. The zone of incompetence. This is one of life's most negative zones, and unfortunately, a more significant part of the human race is in this zone. This is the zone where you focus your energy on things you don't know how to do, things that zap away your time while you don't even realize it. Thomas, a business consultant that charges at least $1,000 per hour for consultation, spent about 13 hours trying to fix a new printer. He had no idea how to fix it, but he was going at it for hours, reveling in his zone of incompetence, not realizing that for every hour he spent trying to fix what he had no idea how to fix, he was probably losing $1,000 per hour consultation fee. A lot of people are like Thomas, people who put effort into the wrong things. Check yourself today and see if you are currently in a zone of incompetence. The zone of competence. In this zone, you're good at what you're doing, and you might even like what you're doing, but you won't be entirely fulfilled because of some factors. Here, you're focusing and spending more time than necessary doing jobs that can be done by other people. You end up doing things that should have been assigned to other people because people believe in your competence. Some workplaces throw out the question, "Can you work under pressure?" The average person would answer in the affirmative and then realize that he's doing more work than he should be doing at all. This zone costs you precious time that could have been expended on what gives you fulfillment. The zone of excellence. This is a very tricky zone, and if you're not careful, you'll be trapped there for life. The zone is so tempting because you're comfortable in it, doing well for yourself, you are your family's pride, and your financial status is encouraging. The zone of excellence is good, but it gets too comfortable and might stop you from attaining the greatest zone of them all, the zone of genius. The zone of genius. This is the zone you want to be. This is the zone that draws on your special gifts, talents, and gives your life a uniqueness that is free of negativity. Whoever attains this level is guaranteed to have a peaceful life no matter the situation. In this zone, you heed to the call of genius, which is when you are careful enough to take the right opportunity at the right time. When you heed this call, you start experiencing stability, growth, and a new form of calmness that radiates through all aspects of your life. Discovering and dismantling the foundation of your upper limit problem. Whenever you attain hallmark level of breakthrough, there's this large probability that something adverse or negative would follow almost immediately. These negative occurrences slow down the progress of your happiness and draws you back to your former state of mind or even worse. That's the upper limit problem kicking in to make you feel bad, just so that your happiness is short-lived. The basis of your upper limit problem is that it tricks you into believing that you don't deserve a certain level of happiness, or that you don't deserve something good simply because you're not worth it. It might lead you to sabotage your relationship by starting arguments out of nowhere or by giving in to negativity to clamp down on the high level of positivity you're reaching. To get rid of this problem, you must first trigger it. Triggering the upper limit problem is like shining light in a dark room. It offers you a better sight and gives you more options. To do this, there are 4 hidden barriers you need to be familiar with. These hidden barriers explain the tricks that the upper limit problem plays on you to make you feel inadequate about yourself. The 4 hidden barriers are discussed in the points below. Feeling fundamentally flawed. This feeling is when you outrightly believe that there's something wrong about you that you can't pinpoint. It so happens that when you hit it big or do something amazing, you subconsciously start looking for ways to suppress the achievement because you believe you don't deserve it. For example, when you see a job offer that's offering to pay well and give you a lot of respect, you automatically discard it because you're inclined to believe that you're not worthy of that position and that even if you manage to secure the job, you'll fail at it. If you can resonate with this, then there are 2 options for you. Either you let go of this limiting belief and herald a new world of self-confidence and self-belief, or you stay in your limit zone and never realize your true potential. Disloyalty and abandonment. To fully understand this barrier, you need to ask yourself these questions. Did I break the family's spoken or unspoken rules to get to where I am? Even though I'm successful, did I fail to meet the expectations my parents had for me? If you can answer yes to these questions, then you're suffering from the disloyalty and abandonment barrier. This barrier makes you feel guilty about your life's choices and forces you to slow down on progress. At this point, you'll attribute your woes to the rift between yourself and your family, or your friends. Whenever you feel this, know immediately that the only thing that's making you feel this way is the upper limit problem. Believing that success brings a bigger burden. This commonly originates from experiences you had growing up, and your level of insecurity, which is as a result of low confidence. Often, parents have punished their kids for a crime they know nothing about. A lot of kids suffer from the backlash and hatred that radiates around a lot of broken homes. Believing you are a burden is an addictive feeling that can leave you trapped in mediocrity. You are mentally subdued to thinking and believing that you're an added problem to people's lives. Hence, you don't want to achieve. You get scared of asking for favors or learning from people because you feel you are a burden to them, and that people would be so glad to get rid of you. To an extent, you might be right, but it is not ideal to continue to grow in this mindset. The way out of this is to absolve yourself of the guilt and crime you suffer for despite knowing nothing about it. The crime of outshining. You are not comfortable with shining because you feel you're trampling on someone else's light? Then you have this barrier. Here, your horizon is limited by you because you're scared that you're shining too bright and therefore making other people's light look dim. Don't be scared of going for the apex, because if you keep killing your happiness for fear of shining too much, you'll never reach your zone of genius. Now that you know the root causes of these problems, you have to observe your daily life and see if you can resonate with one or more of these hidden barriers. Knowing the problem has already been solved as half of the problem. Also, some of the things you need to watch out for that can help alienate your upper limit problem are worry, deflection, criticism, blame, and a lot of negative things in general. You'll realize that most of the things you are worrying about or blaming yourself over are not necessary. In most cases, they are things you have no control over at all. So, why worry when you can focus on the positives? Understanding the 3 Ps and how it resonates with the upper limit problems in your daily life. Now, to some extent, you know why and how you are experiencing the upper limit problem in your life. Also, you know how to tackle it. Now, you will learn more about this limit issue by knowing and understanding the concept of the 3 Ps, and how they have been limiting your daily life. The 3 Ps are punishment, prevention and protection. Punishment is a form of upper limit problem that serves as a deterrent for the bad things you've done, or you're doing. When you gain fulfillment from something bad or dirty, your upper limit triggers something in you to remind you that you don't truly deserve the happiness you're feeling. This can come in the form of migraine, depression, sickness, or accidents. Prevention works alongside protection. It is important to know that all 3 Ps work together, but these two work together more. This stage is a tricky one that plays on your intelligence. If you take a look at your life, you'll probably find one or more instances of the prevention and protection limit tactic. When your mind isn't connected to something, say work or an assignment, your brain somehow finds a way to create a preventive cause to protect you from failing at that work. Bear in mind that these protections mostly come in the form of pain, and sometimes agony. It is at this point you'll discover you have an infection that won't make you go ahead with the assignment, or an injury that would render you immobile for the assignment. Some tips to help you tackle the daily upper limit problem in your life: have solid integrity, develop a great attitude and commitment, be observant at all times, make a list of your upper limit problems, be positive and embrace your confidence. Taking the big leap and exploring your zone of genius. The only thing a person can ever really do is keep moving forward. Take that big leap forward without hesitation, without once looking back. Simply forget the past and forge toward the future. Allison Noel. So far, you've been reading how to take the significant steps. Now it's time to take the big leap. Taking the big leap is only possible when you connect with your zone of genius. Your decisions and commitment at this point are crucially instrumental to the result, because this is the stage where you're moving out of the box into a spiral. This is the point where you sit yourself down and take a look at the things you feel would give you joy and fullness. Reflect on the decisions you've made and taken your time to find the things that genuinely make you happy. Alienate yourself from doubt and lack of confidence. Stop getting scared of failures and stop giving in to limitations that would make you question your ability to leave your comfort zone. You should also remember that your ability to be able to say an enlightened no allows you to choose between what keeps you in your zone of excellence and what keeps you in your zone of genius. Exploring your genius requires that you give attention to your ultimate success mantra. The ultimate success mantra is a particular conviction you give yourself to propel you out of the box and into a spiral that keeps swirling you upwards. It's like a couple of words that you keep telling yourself to help reinforce your firm belief in overcoming the upper limit problem. Think of it like a yoga exercise where you are advised to repeat the Om sound till your mind is clear, and your soul goes blank before wandering off to your mental state of mind. That is the work of your ultimate success mantra. Endeavor to keep it with you at all times, and make sure it sticks with your mental and physical daily activities. Keep your commitment in check and always evaluate your progress. These evaluations should point you towards the direction where you can positively improve. Understanding the concept of time, and how to build a healthy relationship. One of the essential parts of human life is time. Time determines, to a large extent, the things we do, how we do them, where we do them, and when we do them. Time is the frame in which humans work. If you take the argument of Newton concerning time, you'll end up believing that there are only two ways to have time: it's either you don't have enough of it, or you have too much of it. This Newtonian concept of time is very flawed and is especially dangerous for anyone who wants to dwell in the zone of genius. Unfortunately, a large percentage of humanity believes in the Newtonian concept, and they end up feeling limited by time or stuck in a time continuum. If you truly want to control the concept of your time, then you have to discard it and follow another concept, the Einstein time. The Einstein time tells you the true definition of time. Here, you are not limited by lack of time or burdened by too much of it. In this concept, you are where time comes from, so you can easily control the amount of time you need to create and execute. Working alongside time is space, and both of these concepts are what you need to know that only you can control the time you can spend on a project. With Einstein time, you will get to do much in less time, unlike in the Newtonian time where you'll most likely end up doing less in more time. The first thing to do to generate enough time for yourself is by asking yourself questions like, what aspect of my life do I need to take full ownership of? This question prepares you very well for the kind of commitment you would make, and what area of your life you need to apply the Einstein time to. You also have to limit the bad habit of always complaining about time, whether you feel you have less of it or too much of it. The truth of the matter is that, in most cases, there's little to nothing you can do about the amount of time you have. So, be very observant about the times you complain about time, take control of the complaints and try to eliminate them one by one. Once you've mastered the control of your upper limit problem, and you've grasped the concept of time, having a healthy relationship automatically becomes very easy for you. Relationships are essential to every part of human life, and for the vast majority of the human race, love is an absolute necessity. Sadly, not everyone is aware of the upper limit problem, hence the increasing difficulties in relationships. Understanding the concept of the limit issue is an eye-opener to the avoidable problems plaguing a lot of relationships these days. Projection is one of these problems. Projection is negative energy that consumes the positives of any relationship that is not immersed in the knowledge of discarding it. When two people are always at loggerheads because they are in constant conflict of proving themselves right or wrong, that is projection settling in. To avoid this, both parties must start taking 100% responsibility for their actions. Abstain from unnecessary arguments and squabbles that can cause negative tension between you and your partner. The key to this is to create time to improve your mental state. Do as much as possible to stick with speaking the truth about your feelings. Embrace your emotions without fear and understand your upper limit problem while you also establish your ultimate success mantra as much as possible. Conclusion. On a general note, life is not easy. This realization is dawning on a lot of people at the moment, and the sad news is that they are feeling entrapped by the concept of living in a world that's very tough for them. If you take a critical look at it though, you'll find out that there are a lot of people who are enjoying this very life and are living it as if it's a smooth ride. The truth is that these people have most likely found out about their upper limit problem, and are following the laid-down patterns to a sustainable zone of genius. The key to doing is knowing, and there's never a shortage of knowledge or too much of it anywhere. Go ahead and understand your upper limit problem, and there's a very massive chance you'll find true happiness. Try this, make a deep evaluation of your life, find your upper limit problems, dissolve them by following the laid-down patterns and constantly re-evaluate your position to check your progress.